Wrestling Review.
But of course, do we want to do the Cliff Notes version of this?
No, go ahead. Let's do it.
All right, we begin the program with Jim Ross and with Boyd and Joel Watts, and they throw it to the ring with Jim Ross and Bill Watts, and they're talking about Jim Cornette's ultimatum that he's been given for the last couple of weeks, that he was going to take the Mid-South Tag Team Championships away from the Mid-South area, and if he didn't get an apology from Bill Watts and his $30,000 that he was fined some weeks ago for the chair incident with the Fantastics. However, right in the middle of this, Bill Watts makes his announcement that the Midnight Express are no longer the new Mid-South Tag Team Champ, that we have new ones, and they are the Rock and Roll Express, and here comes Ricky and Robert, and the crowd goes nuts when they come out, I have to admit.
Yep.
The people were on fire, and that leads to the first big match for the Rock and Roll Express, the new Mid-South Tag Team Champions, against Big Bad Bob Owen and Terry Ellis. Brent, let me stop. I believe you wanted to say something about this in the beginning.
I did not think they were as over at this point. Go back and look at the videos prior to them leaving, and look at the reaction that they received from that crowd compared to the reaction they got this time. I don't think it was as big to me now. I mean, to me, because I don't think just being there at the time, I don't think they were as over the second time when they came back as they were the first time. But now maybe I was half sleeping or something when I was watching the match. So y'all, because both y'all said they went crazy. So maybe I was.
Well, compared to the match now, as far Jack, let me get your response to the match there.
I thought the match was good. I would have put some faster paced guys in there for them to work with, but it was a solid match.
I thought it fizzled in the end. I think it's because they didn't sell, and it's important to sell, especially have in that match. And then comes over Rock and Roll Express winning that match with a double drop kick. Then we have the big interview with Butch Reed, and he talks about the ghetto street fight from the New Orleans Municipal Auditorium, Master G against Master G, and boy, the crowd was huge at the Municipal Auditorium for this one. Of course, it was also the first night the Rock and Roll Express was back against it. That's the night they won the Mid-South Tag Team Championship. And in this one is a big ghetto street fight between Reed and it looked like Reed and Master G, and it looked like a huge, big match. No doubt about it for that one. And in the end, it was Master G beating Butch Reed, and then Reed decides he wants to take it upon himself. And then that's when they introduced the Master Lock, which is the fuller leg lock, or kind of the modified fuller leg lock. But the crowd was into it, and especially at the New Orleans at the Municipal Auditorium. Brent?
It seemed to me that he was having some trouble getting that fuller leg lock on. No, I don't know that he got it right. It didn't seem right to me, but I don't know, maybe. But I loved the match. I thought it was great. I thought the whole thing was great. I thought everything they did look good in it. Just a tremendous match, and those people were with it. That's all that counts.
Well, we come back from the interview, and now apparently Reed needed some actual knee surgery, so they fly him back to Oklahoma, and he has knee surgery, and apparently had knee surgery in the morning and back in the gym the very next afternoon. And then, of course, Reed tells him that he's still his area, and he's going to get Master G, the whole 9 yards. Then we have come with a good one. It's Jake Roberts against Master G, and what a match for TV. I'm telling you, What a huge match. And the thing about it is that, if I'm not mistaken, Jake just come off of TBS. Of course, he had been there before, son of Grizzly Smith. And, boy, what a match. And Jake, you could tell the seasoning was there. Professional was there. Really, I thought, even though he wasn't the main focus of the match, I thought he shined. I thought Jake Roberts absolutely shined in this match. Brent, what did you think about that one?
Oh, I thought, this is my personal opinion of this, was that Jake knew how to get Master G over. Don't you agree, Jack? He knew what he was going to do.
I agree. This was, to me, a perfect example of what a professional does to build another guy. I mean, it was great storytelling.
And Jake was working over at World Class, so they had a bunch was coming over from I guess Wednesdays. They were off over there, so they would come over and do Mid-South Television. And that Master G done that tremendous flying head scissors is just outstanding. Finally gets him with the football shoulder block right into the master lock, and Jake puts it over like $1 million. He comes up to the end, takes that boot off, he tries to go after Master G, only to have it taken away from him and hit him. It was just and I loved how Boyd did it. Boyd did it as if, okay, this is the end. We're going to commercial. It wasn't like, hold on, let's wait a minute. We're going to talk about that later on tonight, I guess, of how you just wait around for something. No, Boyd actually did it right. He said, let's go to, and action was still going on while he was calling for the commercial. It was perfect. Like he said, you don't know what's going to happen here at Mid-South Wrestling. And that's exactly right. You don't know what's going to happen at Mid-South Wrestling. That's the key. Coming up in the next match, it's going to be for the North American Heavyweight Championship. It's Killer Khan with General Skandar Akbar against Magnum TA for the North American Championship. And right at the beginning, I didn't know what actually TA was talking about. He said Ernie Ladd had called him, said that.
I didn't know what that was.
I was confused. Was you confused about that? What he was talking about?
Yeah.
It was to a certain extent. I didn't get it. It was sounding like that there was favoritism being shown, like to Junkyard Dog or whoever else, and while they're still talking about Junkyard Dog after he's gone, I don't know why they continue to do that, but they do. But anyway, actually Killer Khan and Magnum TA once again has a tremendous match. The crowd is right there with it, and it was just a perfect match. Just a perfect match. I loved it when Killer Khan got the Oriental Spike. However, Joel and Jim Ross didn't know what it was. Thought he had him in choke, I think.
It's my Joel Watts appreciation shirt.
So he actually breaks the Oriental Spike he actually breaks the Oriental Spike of Killer Khan, comes up with the belly to belly, hits Carl Fergie. Fergie goes down. Up comes Akbar up on the ring apron. He takes and chunks him in the ring. And then Akbar holds TA while he's going to go back into the ropes and catch him with the spike again. Hits Akbar, and then they jump, and then all breaks loose. It's mayhem, absolute mayhem in the show. TA, just looks tremendous. Catches with the drop kick. TA looks like $1 million. Khan not hurt at all. Just tremendous, absolutely tremendous. And the people are, they really on it. And it's really good to see TA back on television because he's been gone for a few weeks, in fact. Then we come up with Jack Victory, and I believe this is our first time we saw Jack Victory on the TV to face Jim Duggan for the match. Jim Duggan now has his surprise. He now has his own football helmet, and now he's ready. He's ready to challenge Dr. Death and the Dr. Death Award, which is also a football helmet. So he's ready for the football.
And it's building towards one of the latest matches you'd ever see. Football helmet match. They took all the ropes down around the ring, and I think the first guy that got knocked off of it, they might have had to get knocked off 3 times.
Maybe 3 times. I think you're right.
And that was the
concept of the match. Yes.
So y'all wonder where Vince McMahon gets his great ideas from. You watch Mid-South Wrestling for that one. So
exactly right. Anyway,
it did get over, by the way, though, guys. It really did.
It really did. So in the end, it's Jim Duggan with a 3-point stance with the spear, and of course it's Duggan over that. Then we have an interview with Adrian Street. And they replayed the match between Adrian Street and Terry Taylor for the Mid-South TV Championship. And that's the one where Street gives a little kissy poo to Terry Taylor, causing him to lose the Mid-South Television Championship on TV. And then we have a match. And, of course, Adrian is at the desk, and he's going to be commentating over the next match, which is Del Vesey against Terry Taylor. And I loved it. Adrian called him Terrence. Did you notice that?
I did.
He calls him Terrence.
I loved his comment about, I just love watching Terrence wrestle.
He did, and he did tell. He said that Delvezi now he looks at that physique on that Delvezi now he's no Adrian Street, but now I'm telling you, I think Terrence is going to have a hard time with him. But boy, there was a lot of dead time in that commentary. I listened to the commentary, guys. There was a lot of dead time. I think Adrian was waiting for Boyd Pierce to pick it up, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Well,
I think Boyd was just freaked out.
He was wondering what was going on. Normally, whoever his co-host, they do all the talking to the whole thing. He did no talk. Of course, Cornette asked him when he did it, he asked him if he was going to say something. And Boyd would. But he just steps back and lets people do what they need to do. Well, in the end, it's Terry Taylor winning with the flying forearm. No surprise there with LVC. Then we come up with the Midnight Express. Jim Cornette bringing out Midnight Express, Bobby and Dennis to face Chris Adams and one of our favorites, Jim Horton. He is back. He is back again, Jim Horton. Yeah, Jim's back, Brent, and I know he's one of your favorites. But you have to admit, Chris Adams gets a really, really good response, and I just loved it. I just loved the match. People are chanting "Wimp," and I mean the people. Respond when Dennis gets the super kick in the corner. Of course, it's great how he does it because he gets the super kick back into the corner, tags Bobby so it doesn't kill off the super kick, and then Dennis is able to come in. Bobby's able to come in. Of course, the tag's made, and here comes everybody's favorite, Jim Horton. We love Jim. He does improve. We've seen him later in World Championship Wrestling next year. He does improve, but not in this one. It kind of goes down. It kind of goes downhill from there. In the end, it's Dennis picking up Jim into the belly to back to belly, belly to back suplex, has him up holding. Then it's Bobby coming off with it.
Did you notice Dennis at one point kind of got aggravated? Did you see when he took him to the ropes? Did you see that, Jack?
Victor, we're talking about Mid-South Wrestling. We're talking about back in 1984. We're on episode 266. This was done back in October the 11th of 1984.
And whenever you're feeling the pain, here you go. Get you a BioFreeze. Feel the pain. Watch Tim Horton wrestle. You need that.
The show ends. Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, and we may make fun of it, but this year of 1984, biggest year ever for Mid-South Wrestling. Nothing's ever come or matched it. Possibly Freebirds against Junkyard Dog, but as far as business, probably the biggest year ever for Mid-South, and it was just a banner year for them. And I want to make sure everybody understands, because I read some stuff last week about Bill Dundee not getting credit where credit's due. My friends, he brought what you saw to the Mid-South. Bill Watts might have let it happen, but it's Bill Dundee that brought it. He is the one with the brain power. He's the one that brought the Midnight Express in. He's the one that brought you the tar and feather and the whipping, and he brought it to you. That's the man that made it. And he also brought the Rock and Roll Express, which absolutely expanded their demographics unbelievably. Because before that was mostly men, older people in the audience, if you watch the show in 1983. But once 84 starts, bringing in the Rock and Roll Express, bringing in Terry Taylor, you expand the demographic, and then you see families and women are now populating. They didn't turn one group off to get another. They expanded it so everybody's together, and which is perfect, absolutely perfect. At the end of the show, is Steve Williams out there saying he's ready for the match with him and Jim Duggan, and then it goes off, and that's the end of it. That's Mid-South Wrestling show number 266. And,
great show, Jack. Great show for you. All right, there we go. That is Mid-South Wrestling. That was episode 266, and it aired sometime in September or October.
It was on October the 11th, 1984.
October 11th, 1984, Mid-South Wrestling. Okay, folks.